my weaving friends, how are you doing today? Today I'm going to talk a bit about an amazing pattern collection of 12 patterns for the Zoom loom or any 4x4 inches pin loom, which is called Nordic Folk II. So I use the Zoom loom, which requires yarn number 4 from the yarn gauge classification, like DK or worsted, but I didn't use that yarn. I used instead this 3/2 organic cotton yarn from Gist, which is a brand that that produces tapestry weaving yarn. But these yarns are thinner than DK or worsted, but I just took the chance to see what could happen. So as the yarn was too thin, as I was saying, I had to use double strand. So even though using more than one strand on any pin loom can be tricky, but the result is more neat, more delicate, the motifs are more defined, so that is why it was worth it. So I learned a few tips from this experience that I want to share with you, and I want to invite you to try different thicknesses of yarn, different types, because I really think that is the way you can innovate and really discover new things. Working with cotton is harder than working with other yarns because the fiber is harder, but you can pull it really tight and it will never cut. And that is amazing when you're weaving, because you're weaving and you want to see your finished piece perfect without any knots or ties, and cotton helps in that a lot. Making both warp and weft layers with cotton will be harder and harder as you go along. In fact, I couldn't finish the first piece I was doing because the piece was too hard that I just couldn't pass the needle through. I really applied the usual tension, but that was a problem. I just had to start all over again. That wasn't a usable piece. And then I tried using 2 strands in the warp and 1 in the weft and vice versa. But then the finished piece was too loose, or the motifs not very noticeable. So I just had to make 2 strands in the warp, then 2 strands in the weft, and that was the correct formula, but always weaving loose, very loose. To make the weft layer, use the double strand thread method. Double threading is when you put the thread through your hand needle and then pull the thread so that both lengths of thread are the same. And why doing this? Because I want the work to go twice as fast, like sewing a button, for example. I will get twice the passes if my strands is doubled. Entangle and straighten the yarns with the one you're weaving with a needle all the time, or at least every 2 rows. Well, you can just pass the needle and don't entangle it, that is fair. But if you want to achieve a neat piece, then you have to entangle and straighten the yarn that is doing the weaving. Believe it or not, that is the way you will have a well-finished woven piece. As always, as soon as you finished one row, you have to press it down so you have enough space to continue weaving, especially using cotton yarn, because it will be harder and harder as you go along. Remember to use contrasting colors when you're making motifs. If you have a variegated yarn that you love, go ahead, use it, but just do plain weaving. Following a gridding instruction can be difficult, tricky, complex, and very slow. So it should worth the effort, right? So when you're making fun motifs, like the one included in this collection, you should use contrasting colors, contrasting shades, and you will see the difference. And last but not least, I invite you to see this pattern collection, the Nordic Folk II. I will put the link in the video right here. And also I have published a free pattern which is called Cookie and Friends, and it is in the blog. I will put the link here. You can download it and try it out. And finally, I invite you to get to know the 2025 printed desk calendar I have created for you. I include these 12 patterns, but in a different way. If you see each month of the calendar, you won't be having just a single pattern. You will be seeing an application of that pattern in a daily use object from your home or garment or accessory, and that will be an amazing inspiration for you to create ideas or maybe make a refresh to any object you have at home. So I hope you like this video. I hope you feel inspired to create, and see you around. Bye bye.